Welcome back to the Swing It with Wing It podcast. Today we're going to be talking about credit repair and credit building and the importance of credit in general. Come swing it with Wing It. As a parent, there's one of the things that I've always wanted to do, and that is to help my kids understand something that you don't really learn in high school and college, and really unless through life lessons and depending on the parents that you have and the importance of credit and finances are. I want to share some of my experiences with credit as I have helped hundreds of people, if not thousands, navigate through all the ins and outs of credit. And I actually started a credit repair company, I think it was back in 2004 or 3, to do more mortgages and to sell more homes and do more real estate. And so what I learned is that most people have never been taught how credit works and don't have really the resources or the knowledge or the background to navigate these crazy waters that they just find themselves in the adult shoes and getting married and trying to figure out like how to shop for insurance, how to shop for cars and all these different things. So one of the things that I've done, that if you're a parent and you've got kids that are coming on the age of like 16, is that you can actually, and Capital One's the best with this, there's a few others, you can actually, with a full name and a date of birth and a social security number, you can add your son or daughters to your credit on, let's say, Capital One, for example, as an authorized user. Okay, and so this is huge. Like a lot of us, I think that the odds or the percentages are like 60% have good credit, maybe 20 to 30% have phenomenal credit. And then there's, I think, 30 to 40% that don't have hardly any credit or very little at all, or good credit. So bad credit, liens, judgments, slow pays, collections, short sales on homes or repos on cars and RVs. So, man, you just learn all kinds of stuff from doing mortgages that I have, thousands of mortgages, and through my own, I'm 46, so through my own experiences. So let me just tell you, you call your bank, Capital One, and this is what I've done. To each is their own. Like, it's totally up to you, whether you trust your kids, whether you even need to give the card to your kids. Ultimately, some people might feel differently about this. Like, they can do it on their own like I did, or, that's not my responsibility. But the reasons I did is because, one, I wanted to give that gift to my kids. And also, and I have really good credit. I put both, let's see, Braden, my oldest, he's 22 now. As of, as soon as he turned 16, I put him on 2 credit cards, maybe 3 actually, 1 in my wife's name, 2 in my name. And, I was careful to put them on cards that I didn't use very often, or had a little bit higher balances and very seldom used on limits, because we can talk about that later. But almost within a month's time, Braden at 16, who had no credit whatsoever, within 30 to 60 days, okay, literally had a high 7 credit score. He now went from 0 credit to 3 different trade lines, credit card trade lines, and all of a sudden had over $50,000 or so in available credit. Now, it's kind of a double-edged sword, and it's something that it has to be dealt with cautiously, because I certainly, if I'm in Braden's shoes, don't want to be added to my dad or my friends or my wife's credit cards, okay, if she or he's not managing the limits to the balances that are available, and doesn't pay their bills or has, issues with their own finances that cause them to actually have 30-day late, 60-day late, 90-day late collections, things like that. So the good news is that as an authorized user, that's how the Capital One is one of many banks that do this and do it very quick. That's how they reported on their my kid's credit report, but you can't tell on a credit report. It's like an authorized user only per se. I mean, some credit bureaus and polls, if it's a mortgage, more intense credit inquiry, that you might be able to see it's a authorized user, but you get the same benefit as if you are the main borrower and the person that's liable for that debt. So, and here's the reason I did it. One, I knew I was going to be managing my own credit well and have for some time, and I felt comfortable to basically give that opportunity to my son. And most kids don't have a clue about this, so parents can really screw somebody's credit up if they don't pay a medical bill, or they don't pay this or that. A lot of parents can really negatively impact their kids' future. They also have screwed up their own credit or had challenges or issues through life's obstacles. And so they might have a kid that's 18 or 21 or whatnot and just kind of building credit and has good credit or just no bad credit. And sometimes parents will lean on their kids and say, hey, you're still living at home. We've got, things to do around the house. Let's just put this in your name and let's see how it goes. Well, we got to be careful about that because kids need to learn more about credit and the importance of building credit, learning about credit, understanding what variables can impact whether you have good credit or not. And we'll talk about that. There's one app, it's called Credit Karma, okay? Credit and then Karma with a Karma. And you can download it, put it right on your desktop or on your PDA, okay? And you have to be real careful when you sign in because they'll tie you up, and if you don't put all your accurate information in that's verified quickly, then it can take a month or two to get it all processed. And Braden did that once, and it took us like a month to get the paperwork done through Credit Karma. Anyway, as soon as you enter it, within 15 minutes, you can pull your entire credit history. Now, it's only 2 of the 3 bureaus, and they give you a credit score, and then they give you 5 key criteria which the credit bureaus assess to give you a credit score. The first one is what is the limit that you've been offered or you have on your credit card to the balance that you keep, which means if I have a $10,000 credit limit and I have a $5,000 limit, that's 50% of the limit that I've spent. Okay, now credit cards report once a month to these bureaus, and it's important to know when those guys report, because if I'm trying to manage my score when I'm getting ready to do a mortgage or pull credit for a car, and I know that Capital One reports, this card reports on the 15th of every month, heck, I'm going to make sure that balance, knowing how much it impacts me, and they say under 10% of the limit is the key, okay? So if I have a $10,000 limit, I don't want to spend or have a balance of any more than $1,000 at any given time. Now, you'll hear 20 and 30% and things like that, but once you get over 30%, they start to really kind of penalize you pretty good. Under 30, it's less. Under 20, it's a little bit less. But under 10, it doesn't penalize you at all. So that's the one key. The second one is how many credit trade line accounts you have. All right. So if you have one trade line versus someone that has 20 trade lines, Credit Karma will give you a color score. Dark green is the best. Okay. And that's over, I believe, 20 accounts. Once you have over 20, that's the best where they don't penalize you. Then if you have between 15 and 20, it's like a light yellow. And if you have, between 10 and 15, it's a different color that, goes all the way down to red or like this is a problem. So the challenge is, and the next issue is to have good credit, you can't be out inquiring about anything and everything all the time. Now we're not supposed to be penalized when we inquire about a car or we shop for a car within a 30-day period. Same thing with a mortgage. But your credit inquiries are one of the 3 most important and weighted things on credit report that they'll nail you for. So same color coordinated thing. The Credit Karma will teach you how many credit inquiries you should have in the last 2 years, okay? And it's usually under 2 is okay in 2 years. Think about that. That's not very many. So, but it takes time to gain credit, and it takes time to maintain credit. So but an authorized user, if you're added to your parents or your friends or whatever, then it's actually not a credit inquiry. So it's just automatic credit based on that situation. So the other issue is public records. Okay, this is a big one. It's actually another one of the top 3, and that is anytime there's a tax lien, it'll go on your credit. Anytime there's a bankruptcy or a judgment or a collection, okay, that hits your, they tried to collect, you didn't pay, you're slow to pay, and then it'll go ahead and follow you. And then collection companies will just keep hounding you. And every time it gets sold or the debt's not paid and they keep selling it, they hit your credit again and again, and it's by design. So the last credit variable that is something to be aware of, and I'm just pulling up my Credit Karma app right here, and it's something that every single week you can get your new score, and it gives you points up or down, and it gives you a scale based on however many years that you want to track since you become a member. So I click on TransUnion or Equifax. Let's see here. And okay, so payment history is the first and foremost. Like, what's your payment history? Mine's 100%, so it's dark green. What's my credit card use, which is basically that balances to limits, okay? And I've got 6% here, so I'm 2 for 2. Derogatory marks is how it shows it, and that's if you've been late, 30, 60, 90, or whatever. I also have 0 on that. Now, the next one is credit age. So if you have, in my case, I got 24 accounts, okay? Every account you bring on has a time period in which you got it. So if I bring on a new mortgage or buy something, a new car or something like that I decide to finance, it adds to my number of accounts. And remember, we want over 20 to not penalize us. But then again, it's the credit age is tricky because it starts over. Okay, so if I have 24 accounts, my average age right now is only 5 years and 3 months, which is not ideal. It's not the dark green, so I'm getting a little bit of a penalty there. And then I've got 3 inquiries right now, so it's not dark green. So I'm getting penalized on those 2, and my credit score is still in the high 7s, but ultimately, Credit Karma will really help. And how you can get instant credit if you have a very responsible friend, a relative, a family member that you can trust, and you can backtrack and make sure that on your Credit Karma that their account balances and all these things that they'll score you on are being managed responsibly. This is a great option for somebody that really wants credit now and can basically start to get car loans, mortgages, any kind of a rental application, the best rates on insurance, and a number of different things that are dependent on great credit. So hopefully that's a quick 10, 15-minute tip on how to get great credit and maintain credit and build credit. So hope this was helpful. Over and out. Today's podcast was brought to you by Utah's Best Vacation Rentals. Whether you're looking for a 3-bedroom townhome or a mansion with an indoor pool, Utah's Best has a vacation home for every budget and occasion. To book your next incredible Utah vacation, go to utahsbestvacationrentals.com. Book direct and save.